In the village of Ajanaku, the night did not begin when the sun went down. The night began when the crow called the name, and whenever that sound tore through the darkness, something living stopped being human before morning. Long ago, before streetlights, before phones, before anyone could run from fear, there was a village surrounded by thick forest and tall grass. The villagers were simple farmers. They woke with the sun, worked in the land, and slept early. Their biggest worries were rain, harvest, and sickness, until the crow came. At first, it was just a bird, a large black crow that sat on the tallest tree at the edge of the village. No one paid attention to it. Birds were normal. Birds were harmless. But this one never left. It did not fly with other birds. It did not eat from the farms. It did not drink from the river. It only watched. Children noticed it first. They said its eyes shone at night like tiny caws. The adults laughed and said, "Children imagine things." Then one midnight, it opened its beak. Cow! The sound was not loud like thunder. It was sharp, like a knife dragged across metal. It cut through sleep. A man named Balogun woke suddenly. His chest was tight. His room felt smaller. The air was heavy. He tried to stand, but his legs trembled. He heard whispering in his ears. Not words, just breath, cold breath. His wife slept beside him, unaware. Balogun stepped outside to breathe. The villagers heard him scream. Not a quick scream, a long scream, a tearing scream. The kind that breaks halfway because the lung can no longer hold fear. When they ran outside with lantern, they found him kneeling in the sand, hands covering his face. He was alive, no blood, no wounds. But when he removed his hands, his eyes were completely white. Balogun never spoke again. He never blinked again. He only stared at the tree where the crow sat. The villagers said it was sickness. They did not yet understand. The next night came midnight. Silence. Then, cow! A baby began crying in one hut. The cry changed. It became deeper, rougher, impossible. The mother rushed to the cradle and froze. The baby was still there, but its shadow on the wall was standing. The baby slowly turned its head and looked at her. So did the shadow. The mother fainted. By morning, the baby was normal again, but the shadow never matched the baby's movements ever again. Wherever the baby crowed, the shadow walked. Wherever the baby slept, the shadow stood awake. The villagers started whispering. The crow was no longer ignored. Days passed. Nothing happened during the day. People almost relaxed. Then midnight returned. Cow! A young hunter named Sola woke up sweating. He heard footsteps on his roof. Slow, dragging footsteps. Back and forth. Back and forth. He grabbed his knife and stepped outside. Nothing. When he returned inside, his roof was covered with handprints from inside the hut, as if ants had tried to push their way out through the ceiling. That morning, Shola's hair had turned completely grey. He was 22. Fear entered the village like a disease. No one walked alone at midnight. Fire was kept burning. Prayer filled the air. But the crow kept coming. Each midnight, cow! A goat was found hanging from a branch with no rope. a well filled with dark water that reflected faces not belonging to anyone. Footprints appeared in the sand that walked into walls and never came out. The worst part was not death, it was change. People began changing. A woman started laughing every midnight without knowing why. A boy spoke with two voices at once. An old man claimed someone else was breathing through his mouth while he slept. The crow never attacked. It only called, and something else answered. One evening, the villagers' elders gathered. They decided to kill the crow. Warriors armed themselves with spears, charms, and torches. They surrounded the tree before midnight. The moon rose. The wind stopped. The crow appeared. No wings flapping, no land. It was simply there. The leader shouted and threw his spear. The spear stopped in the air, hung there, then slowly turned around and pointed back at him. Cow! Every torch went out in the darkness. The warriors heard something breathing that was not theirs. Heavy breathing, close breathing, something moving between them. When morning came, the warriors were found standing in a circle, smiling. All of them. Their eyes were black. Their mouths were stretched too wide. They did not speak. They did not blink. They only smiled at the tree. After that, people stopped fighting the crow. They started fearing the night it would come. Then something worse happened. One midnight, the crow did not caw. The silence was wrong, thick, heavy, like the world was holding its breath. People felt relief at first. They stopped outside. They laughed. Some even sang. Before dawn, the ground shook. A deep sound rose from beneath the village, like a giant turning in its sleep. Hearts cracked. The earth split open in the center of the village square. From the crack, shadows climbed out. Woman-shaped shadows without body. They walked into huts and returned with nothing. Yet the hut became empty. By sunrise, half the village was gone. No ruins, no bodies, no ashes, just open land. That day, the remaining villagers understood the truth. The crow's cry was never the cause. It was a warning bell. When it cawed, terrors visited one house. When it stayed silent, terror visited everyone. Years later, travelers passing that area say they sometimes hear a sharp sound at midnight in the distance. Cow! In the morning, a house somewhere is found with doors open, mirrors cracked, and footprints leading to nowhere. The crow still sits on a tall tree, watching, waiting, because it does not hunt bodies, it hunts night. Hey guys, did this story touch you? If it did, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next part. You never know which story might save a life. Bye.